noise in our country is cybersecurity into some music. How and when, I don't know. I am trying to do my best. We can work together, we can work in isolation, I don't care, but we should be very clear where we are going. There's an old saying that if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So are we planning to fail? Answer is no. Absolutely no. Every one of us wants to be a successful person. Every one of us. And he or she should. This is the basic right of the human being now. But for doing that, we have to work together. We can talk hours and hours on our education system, on future technologies, what we are doing, why our youth is going abroad, why every young man wants to travel abroad. Yes, going abroad is an opportunity. We should go. But not as a revenge to the country, that I am leaving this country because of this. I'm sorry. This shouldn't work. And trust you me, it's the responsibility of people like me, people like you sitting here, to motivate them, to give them confidence. On a lighter side, मैं अक्सर कहता हूँ, अब तो भाई होप को होप देने की ज़रूरत पड़ गई है कि, frankly speaking, चले. तो साइबर के ऊपर दो आर्गुमेंट नहीं है कोई. Threat, yes. Threat is there. It is persistent. It's increasing day by day. Every rising sun see a new technology, and every rising sun see a new threat also. So we are trying to learn the technologies. Let's try to learn the threats. I think the speakers today, they are valuable speakers. Please listen to them. Don't go into gossips. Don't go into card exchanging. This is not going to give you anything. Try to learn here. The people Faisal has invited, I am part of his effort for the last 22 years, I told you. And wherever I am, I try to reach here because he is doing something very amazing. And I think this conference has a tradition that we meet together. We meet in the evenings also. To anybody who needs any support from Islamabad, from people like us, we are there. And my last comment about the opportunities we have. We have so many of opportunities. Allah पाक का शुक्र अदा करना चाहिए. हर कंट्री हमारी तरफ देख रहेगा, हर कंट्री के लोग क्या करेंगे. अगर हम नहीं दे रहे तो खुद अपनी तरफ नहीं देख रहे. हम छोटे छोटे अपने ज़ाती मफादात की खातिर, अपने इदारों के मफादात की खातिर, I don't care political reasons क्या हैं, हमारे positions क्या हैं हमारी. एक एक आदमी important है हमारे लिए. एक एक आदमी important है. इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के अंदर सारे सरकार के लोग बैठे हैं. उनसे मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है सब लोगों से. बेटे साहब वेलकम. बड़े पुराने साथी हैं बेटे साहब और हम, माशाल्लाह. अच्छा, गुजारिश ये है कि ये जो आज की कॉन्फ्रेंस है, ये जिस चीज़ की तरतीब दी गई है, इसमें 1 से 1 पैनलिस्ट होंगे आपके. प्लीज़ ट्राई टू प्रेजेंट हियर. प्लीज़ ट्राई टू प्रेजेंट हियर. मैं उनमें नहीं हूँ पैनलिस्टों के अंदर, लेकिन मैं क्वेश्चन ज़रूर करूँगा. मैं सारे पैनलिस्टों को बता रहा हूँ और बड़ा मासूमाना सवाल करूँगा. यू नो मी वेरी वेल. मैं मासूमाना सवाल करता हूँ हमेशा, ठीक है, और मुझे करना चाहिए. गुजारिश ये है कि आज हम इस हॉल में जमा हुए हैं लंच तक. कोशिश करें कि ये 2 हवाले से रिवार्डिंग हो. एक तो हमें सबको एक दूसरे के बारे में मालूमात हो कि हु इज़ डूइंग व्हाट, और नंबर 2 ये टेक अवे हो कि हम जिन मसाइल का शिकार है इस वक्त एज ए नेशन, पता नहीं कितने करोड़ बच्चे हमारे स्कूल से बाहर हैं, क्या हमें थ्रेट्स हैं, इदारों में क्या मसले हैं, भूल जाएं. माजी जो है उसके सिर्फ पछतावे हैं कि मैं ये करता तो ये होता, ये करता तो ये करता. मुस्तकबिल के खौफ हैं. मोमेंट्स में रहें. आज सोचें कि जो अगले 4 घंटे हैं आप सब लोगों के, ये सोचें क्या लर्न करके जाएंगे यहाँ से, क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ लेकर जाएंगे. आज आपके और मेरे पास जो कुछ भी है वो इस मुल्क ने दिया है हमें. मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूँ, मेरे इख्तलाफ हो सकते हैं, 100 लोगों से मेरे इख्तलाफ होते हैं, लेकिन वो ज़ाती नहीं है, वो एकेडमिक इख्तलाफ है, होने चाहिए. लेकिन जो कुछ आज आपके पास है, ये गाड़ियाँ, ये घर, ये सब कुछ इस मुल्क ने दिया है हमें, और हमें इस मुल्क को ही वापस करके जाना है. बहुत शुक्रिया आप लोगों का. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, Jafri sir. You reminded me that We were together since 2001. It's a long time, 23 years. और जो जो बातें इन्होंने की हैं फैसल साहब की, आई थिंक आई वुड ऑल्सो से थैंक्स टू फैसल साहब जो नेटवर्किंग करते हैं एंड वी ऑल गेट टुगेदर फॉर सम इवेंट और कॉन्फ्रेंस. Next, we have an overseas guest, Mr. Igor Stoledov, Technical Sales and Business Manager, Group IB. He will deliver his presentation on the future of cybersecurity, protecting businesses in an evolving threat landscape. Please welcome him on the stage.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Really, it's first of all big pleasure for me to be in front of you. I see so many friends. It's first time for me personally in Islamabad. It's an amazing place, and I feel like at home, which is really important. And actually, I see the reason is because you are designing this environment. So it's a big pleasure for me, and it's an honor to be in front of you. My name is Igor Stoledov. I'm working at Group IB for 8 years. I'm developing the region. I'm focusing in Pakistan. So since last 1 year and a half. So there are big plans from the company organization perspective is to support this territory. I will share that some of the vision a bit later. Who I want to the agenda for today's conversation is to focus and give you some of the insights what we see from the Group IB as a cybersecurity company for the region, for the country. I will give you a light of who is Group IB, who we are, what we're doing, what we're performing. Then I will show you some of the statistics. And then I will highlight some of the approaches how we see the resilience of designing the resilience center to protect the organizations from different angles in the country level. Group IB is a cybersecurity company. We have more than 21 years of experience in the cybersecurity domain. What is Group IB by name? Group IB is staying for Group Investigation Bureau. At the beginning, and better sometimes to say not by words who we are, but actually presenting something when others talk about us, what we are performing and where we are focusing. Group IB is the official partner of Interpol, Afripol, and Europol, law enforcement agencies globally, where we help such law enforcement agencies to actually handle sophisticated cyber criminals attacks and activities and actually identify who are the end threat actors. So the company initially, we mainly were focusing in 2003 on the investigation procedures, digital forensics and incident response. We didn't have any technologists at that time because we were focusing mainly on how the threat actors, who are they, how they are working, what tools and techniques are they using, what technologies they're using, how they're finding the way to bypass different protection measures. And we were performing such activities and actions in different countries on the ground. So on later stages, we designed the technologies which give us today more insights actually and help organizations to protect themselves also. So we have been, our specialist basically uncovered also a massive espionage campaign led by APT 27. So there are a lot of critical information where we engage in what our researchers and the expertise team is performing. We are operating globally. Group IB office is based out of the Singapore, our global HQ office for Group IB. We have the regional HQ offices. We have office in Dubai, our Middle East and Africa HQ office. We have office in Riyadh and Egypt, in Amsterdam, our European HQ. We recently launched office in Chile on LATAM. And basically, office, what I mean by office from our perspective is that it's a research, it's a team basically of the experts with the local expertise on the ground, because each country, each region, they have different attacks, different activities, different languages, different ways, different tools, different machine servers which are utilized on the local levels, right, in different countries, and it's different country by country. So you have to be on site, you have to know how the threat landscape is designed. And today, I actually would like to give you some of the statistics and information which we see as by our research and development centers actually for the Asia-Pacific region landscape. So the statistics which you can see, this is the APT groups, nation-state groups, which are the 5 of the most heavily attacked countries in Asia-Pacific. We can see Pakistan is one of them. We can see that there are different groups like Lazarus, APT 27, there is APT 41. So they're mainly and primarily attacking the government and military, the education sectors, the financial sectors, of course, telecommunication, and last but not least, the non-profit organizations. So primarily such APTs, they're focusing, of course, on the government level, so where they utilize, most of the time they utilize phishing as activity as the common way to enter the organization, and then they perform the future exploitation of the attack itself. The next one is the underground cloud of logs. So as we call them, UCLs, which are the basically providing the access to compromise confidential information obtained mostly by stealer logs. So stealer by like malware types. So we can see that in 2022, by the statistics, we see that Pakistan was not even affected by such UCLs. But in 2023, we can see how many activities in Pakistan coming to the 3rd place, actually, of those stealer logs which are attacking the country, basically, and how many cases were detected. And it's basically increased in general by 30%, right? And the Pakistan in 22, again, it wasn't even on the radar. But now they are attacking actually, and the people and the organizations getting in troubles. So we see this. There are different motives. There are different reasons why it's happening. From one angle, it means that the country is getting in the good shape, right? Because there is a financial institutions. It means they're critical. Of course, we all know that there are critical infrastructures from the government, from the military side. So it means that a lot of threat actors are going and would like to attack the nation, the critical infrastructures. So that's why we have to be really in the proactive manner in such cases and have the visibility on how the attacks are happening, and that's where Group IB will help, of course. The next one is the data leaks for the region. That databases which are leaked, for example, breach databases, basically where the corporate emails can be leaked, there are other emails can be leaked, and you can see the numbers actually spread at 98 million overall. This is the number for all of the countries, for Asia-Pacific countries. How many actually contained, like the leak was contained the email address itself. Then there are 23 million the information consists of the password, and 289 million cases where the information consists also the phone number. So what it means? It means that there are a lot of leaks, a lot of information. It means that personally we have to be well aware where we're entering our information on the internet, on different websites. We have to be aware, we have to train our teams, we have to train our families, we have to focus on the education sector as well, at the high school, at the universities, in order to enhance the visibility and awareness of the cybersecurity attacks. What they are performing, how they're designing, and we are participating a lot actually into myself as well in different universities where we train actually and changing the mindset and giving the awareness how the students or kids, they can be tricked, and then their details will be ruined, all right, and be under the risk. At the same time, it's important from the organization's perspective. If we see so many emails, so many passwords, so many phone numbers, there could be for the financial sector a lot of fraud activities, for example, exist where there will be cold calling activities saying that I am the authorized person from the bank, please proceed with the payment. So that's actually whole attribution, and there is a consequences from different actions which each of us is performing when we're going online, because this is the most important risks and the cases which are facing nowadays. Some of the insights, since I have not long, there's a short timing, but I want to give you more lights and more insights. I will be more than happy to collaborate and give you more information, of course. Feel free to ask me also any questions. But some of the, some of the critical insights I would like to share with you, which is focusing on Pakistan primarily. As you know, we have a large threat intelligence team which is analyzing different cases. We have malware reverse engineer, we have the incident responders team, we have the forensics investigation specialists. So the expertise actually which we are focusing on, we are on a daily basis analyzing different types of activities, and we are breaking down them by piece in order to understand what is there, how the threat actors, what tools and TTP they're utilizing or using, the malware type, how it is functioning, how it's open up on the end machine, and so many actions and activities. So we have seen that there are top ransomware groups which are targeting Pakistan. You can see them all on the screen, which is quite critical and important information, because ransomware cases nowadays are really they're getting to the next level, and they're really unique, which is why, from what sense they're unique. When the threat actors basically trying to attack the organization, of course they check the most typical protection tools which are well-known companies are utilizing and using, and they're testing basically on their behavior, how they will act, and that's how the threat actors are selecting the vector of how they can avoid the detection logic of the certain technologies, right? So from our perspective, we have designed special tools which are focusing not, for example, on signature-based analysis. They're focusing more on the anomalies, what is not, which is unusual behavior of the certain types of malware, for example, or certain attack. And that's where we having the understanding of the new types of activities happening by the threat actor. Also, the top malware targeting Pakistan, the Red Line Stealer, it's they compromised a lot of accounts basically by this particular stealer log. For more than 4 million compromised accounts. There are Racon, there are MetaStealer and Rise Pro. So they're really heavily focusing, and we see their activities and analyzing on the frequent basis in order to be updated what is happening actually. The next slide, I will take 2 more minutes of your attention. So how we see what is the resilience center, what is the approach to be taken on the ground, having said and performing and sharing you the statistics numbers, it's important to also guide and brainstorm also together, maybe sharing. You most welcome to share your vision of how you see it, but from our perspective, focusing on purely on the cybersecurity aspects in different countries, we see that the most important from the approach is to have the localized research sources, basically, right, where the most critical information is taking. It's a localized expertise, basically the researchers, and that's what we're designing. We have a dedicated research people focusing on Pakistan in particular, as it's our focus region between Group IB company and strategic on the country level. So we have a dedicated team of experts and analysts who are focusing on the research and analysis, reverse engineering of the certain types of the malware. And it's synergy between the people, process, and technologies. This is the really important part where the processes, right, should be in place. Then the technologies should be aligned on the pain points. To understand the pain points, there should be proper analysis has been made pre-assessments or test, different testing from the penetration testing, red teaming, in order to know what to focus, what to put in place of the organization. Plus, from the team perspective, right, it's important to check and see what is the skill set of the people, because you know, by words everybody trying to be in a good shape, but when it's coming to the real attacks and activities, it's mandatory to enhance and proactively work constantly with the security teams within the organization in order to enhance their knowledge. And what we do at Group IB, we designed a huge approach where we have a focus on the technologies perspective, which are giving different activities and indicators and sensors, which basically will be attributed within one platform. Plus there is the services portion which we're performing, where we have a dedicated forces only focusing on the service, from the trainings, from the pre-IR assessment, compromise assessment, vulnerability assessment, investigation, incident response, forensics. So we are performing a large scope of the services. Why? Because we know what are the pain points. We sharing them with the organizations. We want to help, and we look forward to enhance the approaches, the strategy, and to focus together and work as one team between the collaboration with you in Pakistan on the national and the segregated levels.
AI-based cybersecurity platforms have matured more than ever before. Today, with an AI-based cybersecurity tool, we can leverage, optimize, centralize, and accelerate a company's threat detection and response. AI-based cybersecurity platforms uplevels the entire security team by centralizing, analyzing, and operationalizing security data across a company's entire security stack. AI-based cybersecurity platforms empower smarter, faster decision-making with actionable insights by providing security teams with real-time, holistic end-to-end visibility across an ever-changing security ecosystem. This transforms SOC teams into proactive defense teams by allowing them to stay ahead of constantly evolving threats. AI can analyze large amount of data in real time to identify potential threats and to anticipate attacks. Again, according to Gartner, AI can automate the detection, analysis, and mitigation of threats, reducing the time it takes to respond. AI can identify potential vulnerabilities in real time in customer networks and systems, allowing organizations to take proactive measures and prioritization. AI can predict where and how an organization is most likely to be breached, helping them allocate resources to areas of weakness. AI can make advanced security tools available even to a smaller organization. AI can work with human analysts to identify and respond threats more effectively. AI can continuously learn from new data to adapt to emerging threats. While AI is a powerful tool for enhancing threat detection and response, it is also being leveraged by cybercriminals to conduct more sophisticated and automated attacks. To strengthen defenses, organizations must adopt a balanced approach, leveraging AI to streamline SOC operations while continually evolving their security strategies. As cyber threats continue to evolve, a proactive approach with AI-enhanced cyber detection, such as next-generation XDR platform, DNS detection and response, next-generation SIEM, and AI-enabled SOC platforms are essential to maintain a strong cybersecurity posture. This is the end of my presentation, and now I would like to invite Mr. Ali Manzar, CISO of the Bank of Punjab, on the stage for a fireside, and Mr. Zishan Siddiqui, CISO of Bank Al-Falah. Good. Assalamu alaikum. So my first question would be with Zishan Saab. Zishan Saab, in your opinion, what is the role of artificial intelligence in cybersecurity?
Thank you, sir, for inviting me here. As per my CISO's opinion, the role of AI in the cybersecurity, I would like say that it's really a game changer, and it's a future of technology. One of the biggest strength of this AI is its speed. You know, we are dealing with a lot of data. We are dealing with a huge data set, and number of vulnerabilities, number of false positives which we receive at the SOC. Our SOC analysts are busy in investigating. So AI helps a lot. This AI technology, if we utilize it properly, you know, it requires quality data set. It requires specialized skill set. So if we feed these type of things into the AI, we can achieve the result as we desired. So there are so many benefits. I can communicate here properly. These all of the benefits, but some of the benefits like speed, its predictive analysis, its cut down the false positives and its automation. You know, if we automate the response, like if we identify any of the device that behaves suspiciously or abnormally, by using that concept of automation, we can isolate that device and act accordingly. So to me, yeah, this AOI is a promising future, and if we utilize it properly, yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Zishan. Ali bhai, from your perspective, are you, by the way, using any AI tool in your organization, like for cybersecurity operations?
As you can see, I have come from Lahore. So,
God bless you.
thank you. Yeah, so there are many AI tools being used to serve the business, where they design new products and find better ways to serve our customers. So within security, I think and I believe that AI has been an integral part of many security tools for more than a decade now. They have been inbuilt in our endpoints, in our EDR, the email security appliances, the SIEM itself, the SOAR itself. They have their inbuilt AI capabilities. One might argue that the old school AI heuristics was there, but now the advanced ML with NLP has come to the fore to strengthen the traditional information security tools.
Very nice. Zishan sir, are you using any AI-enabled platform? I know it's confidential for your bank, but it's still like, or are you in the phase of any decision making? Because as you mentioned, without AI, running SOC nowadays is impossible.
Yeah, like Ali said, that there are a number of technologies which we are using as an industry in our SOC for our application security assessment. There are a number of things, but you know, it's progressing. It's still in exploring phase. AI is still not mature, I believe. It takes time. So yeah, we are utilizing this technology at our best, but a lot of to.
Yes, yes. So I can.
I would say that the modern day SIEM along with SOAR have this inbuilt AI capability where they can actually reduce the clutter. They provide context to our SOC analyst as well. And there are tools, AI tools, which we have been recently evaluating, which actually provide us an asset inventory while collecting data from various, and they deduplicate that, normalize that information, and provide us, our SOC analysts, a context of the incoming threat. I mean, the actual human element remains while we have all the tools deployed. As you mentioned in your presentation, there is an alert fatigue for our SOC analyst. And while alerts come from various components of information security, the human element remains that the SOC analyst knows how much of a risk this incoming threat is. So, but it takes for him or her for some time to come to that conclusion. With the help of AI, SOC analyst can have a better understanding, a quick approach to the context of the incoming threat, with related to the on-prem or the already deployed infrastructure. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is exactly the problem which we were actually facing in our security operations center, both in the offensive one and the blue team one in Karachi and Islamabad. And the major problem was the multiple dashboards that we used to dig into. So once we saw that there are threats coming in from a particular environment, to investigate into those threats, we have to go and deep down into multiple dashboards to investigate. With AI, I think that problem is solved. And from Zishan Saab, from your perspective, how do you see the adoption of artificial intelligence in our banking industry, in the financial institute? And because AI can also be leveraged, like cyber threats to optimize cyber threats in any particular organization. So how is the adoption? And most of the, just a rebuttal on this, most of the AI-based cloud platforms are hosted overseas on overseas cloud platforms. So what is your take on this?
As industry, yeah, we are leveraging AI in the cybersecurity we are getting there. We are getting closer, but need to do a lot. We need to put maximum efforts on this side, and there are few things which I believe to do to achieve this requirement. Like we need quality data, because AI works or relies, I must say that, on the data that should be like clean and in the required format. So most of the organizations, are struggling in maintaining the data quality, and this is one of the challenge. The number two, which I mentioned earlier in my comment, that the resources, the skill set, because AI and cybersecurity both are two different domains, and these are two specialized domains. And if we say that we need to combine these two concepts, AI and cybersecurity, so specialized, skilled professionals are required to take a lead. In banking industry, yes, there is a lot of requirement from these AI technologies. As you mentioned, that SOC analysts receive like millions of alerts on daily basis, different dashboards, and we are still struggling with a single dashboard which can provide us proper monitoring and quick actions. So yeah, we are working on this side. We are seeking help from the vendors, from the partners, that please bring some specialized tool set from across the globe.
Thank you so much, Zishan. Ali bhai, my last question with you. During this year JITEX, we were able to meet with some cybersecurity enthusiasts who are developing AI platforms on government levels, infrastructure for AI usage for government levels. What is your take on that? Like, if our approach goes down to this pathway, we develop AI-enabled cybersecurity platforms on government infrastructure, and then use those platforms to enable our SOC operations, rather than optimizing the AI-enabled solutions from overseas.
Yes, AI can be utilized in any field. I mean, I hope that AI is used to solve some small problems currently being faced by people in Punjab as well. So yes, if your question is referring to developing local infrastructure to host AI tools,
absolutely,
that would be a good idea, because on-prem you can still reap benefits from AI, but it is going to be a compromise if you deploy AI tools on-prem, because AI requires loads of data and compute and an ongoing update with the cyber threat intel which is being updated. So it is going to be a good idea as far as cybersecurity is concerned, that if there is some local infrastructure being developed to provide various industries with the cybersecurity tools, I think it's going to be, and we would love to adopt that, and I also think that regulator might not have a problem with that as well.
Amazing. So you would prefer a local infrastructure than a cloud-based infrastructure if it is being provisioned locally in Pakistan?
If it's a choice between on-prem and local cloud, of course, we would opt for local cloud.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Zishan and Mr. Ali.
Thank you for providing me the opportunity.
Any questions anyone have for the gentleman here? Question? Yes. Mike. See, was there anything?
बहुत शुक्रिया जी। मैंने कहा मौका करीब मत जाना जाए। निशान आपसे सवाल है, फिर एक आपसे मासूमाना सवाल करेंगे। आप एआई को इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं जो एक विच इज़ गिविंग अस द कैपेबिलिटी टू think proactively, not reactively. Up till now, we have been thinking reactive, right? Definitely, you'll be getting a lot of information, naturally, as you rightly said. Are you sharing it with the banking community? I'm not talking about the government. I'm not talking about the other partners. I know the delicacies of it. But is there any forum under your State Bank national State Bank cert that are you sharing information? Because in case of Bangladesh, what happened? They lost so much of money in one night because they were not sharing mechanism. So can you answer it? Then I have a question.
Sure, Marsab. Bilkul, at the PBA forum, we all CISOs collaborate. We share whatever we identify, our investigations. So yeah, at this forum, we collaborate. And it is a requirement of State Bank as well. But you know, ये वाला एरिया जो है इसमें बहुत काम करने की ज़रूरत है. क्या हम ओपनली बहुत कुछ शेयर नहीं कर रहे होते, कुछ फेयर्स हैं जो कि हमें क्योंकि ये साइबर ब्रीचेस पहले हम सुनते थे इंटरनेशनली कि यूएस में कहीं हो गया, यूरोप में किसी कंट्री में हो गया. अब हम अपनी IIH चंडीगढ़ रोड जो कराची में है वहाँ पे बहुत फ्रिक्वेंट सुनना शुरू हो गए कि पाकिस्तान में अब साइबर अटैक्स होना स्टार्ट हो गए. अभी रिसेंटली 2-3 ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ऐसी हैं जो हमें बहुत सपोर्ट करती हैं. सप्लाई चेन के अटैक्स हुए. जब तक हमें प्रॉपर इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं आएगी कि एग्जैक्टली व्हाट हैपेंड देयर, तो हम कैसे अपने एनवायरनमेंट को, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को अगेंस्ट दोज ब्रीचेस सेफगार्ड कर सकते हैं. बिल्कुल अमर साहब, आपका क्वेश्चन बिल्कुल सही है. हम अपने जानते कोलैबोरेशन करते हैं एट सम लेवल, बट इसमें बहुत काम करने की ज़रूरत है.
बहुत शुक्रिया. आपसे एक सवाल ये है मेरा कि जो फ्यूचर थ्रेट्स हैं ना, उसमें सबसे बड़ा थ्रेट क्लाइमेट चेंज नहीं है, डिसइंफॉर्मेशन है, मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन है. वो आप भी समझते हैं. एंड इट हैज़ बीन रिकग्नाइज्ड ग्लोबली कि अब अगले 2-3 सालों में जो थ्रेट्स हैं वो डिसइंफॉर्मेशन, मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन के हैं. बैंकिंग सेक्टर एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट शोबा है, मैं समझता हूँ. इसमें भी डिसइंफॉर्मेशन आ रही है कि, और उसके जो वेस्ट इंटरेस्ट के लोग हैं वो हमारे दुश्मन हैं, बाहर बैठे हैं हमारे से. दे आर अटैकिंग अस डिफरेंट फेसेस. आपसे गुजारिश ये है कि पता नहीं आप उसके मेंबर हैं कि नहीं, मेरा एक फोरम है CSAP का, आप हो गए ख़ास उसमें, हर आदमी उसमें है. मैं उसमें कहता हूँ जी आपने मालूमात नहीं देनी कि ये हो गया फला में, बिकॉज एनी रॉन्ग इन्फॉर्मेशन अबाउट वन बैंक इज़ गोइंग टू डिस्ट्रॉय द बैंक, राइट. हाँ, सोशल मीडिया उसकी भी नहीं सुननी है हमने. जो गवर्नमेंट के जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक है, मैं समझता हूँ ये जिम्मेदारी है PTA की, वो इसकी जिम्मेदारी ले अपने ऊपर. जो चीज़ चैनल से नशर हो जाएगी वो हम ज़रूर डिस्कस करेंगे. इस सेंसिटिविटी को अभी हम मेंटेन नहीं कर पा रहे. छोटे छोटे बैंकिंग कॉम्पिटिशन, बिजनेस कॉम्पिटिशन की वजह से वो बात फैल जाती है फ़ौरन. एक रिसेंटली एक गवर्नमेंट इदारे के बारे में बात की, नहीं करनी चाहिए. इस पर आप समझते हैं कि कवानीन की ज़रूरत है कि जो पहली दफ़ा डिसइंफॉर्मेशन फैलाएगा उसको FIA पकड़ लेगी. थैंक यू.
जी बिल्कुल, इस चीज़ की तो ज़रूरत है कि जो सेंसेशनलाइज न्यूज़ है, बिकॉज a bank running smoothly won't make a news. A bank being attacked would make a news. So following sensational karna, ratings badhana, and there are many sources of information now at the platform of social media. I should share that there are many AI tools or AI-driven tools which actually help us identify if there is any sentiment going on against our bank on various social media platforms. And we are in contracts with various organizations or digital risk protection companies who are in contact with Alphabet and Meta to take those posts down. So we try to act proactively as well. But your point is valid. There should be some regulation addressing this concern. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you, Asad, Ali Manzar and Zishan. इतना डरा रहे हैं ये लोग AI के लिए. अगर आप फ़ोन भी ऑन कर रहे हैं एंड यू से आई वांट टू गो टू अ रेस्टोरेंट, तो रेस्टोरेंट की सारी लिस्ट आ जाती है मोबाइल में बिफोर इवन यू स्टार्ट सर्चिंग फॉर इट. और इवन so I would say if you just keep everything in your mind, don't speak, it's okay. But the moment you speak or the moment you think about it, it's already out. Okay, now let me invite our next overseas speaker, Mr. Haitham Nasser, Cyber Security Specialist. He will deliver his presentation on Inside the Shadows, a quarterly glimpse into cyber threat evolution. We are pleased to have Cisco as the industry engagement partner of CTI 2024, Mr. Haitham Nasser.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, thank you so much for your time to attend my session. It's an absolute pleasure to meet all the cybersecurity leaders in the country. My name is Haytham Nassar, and I'm the cybersecurity specialist working with Cisco. And for today's topic, I decided to go through our quarterly report. I'm sure all of you know Talos. So Talos is our cyber intelligence for observing all the incidents worldwide. Also, we have a team, more than 500 security researchers worldwide, observing almost more than 550 billion security events daily. And definitely with the help of the researchers, and definitely we cannot forget about the AI, as my colleague and previous speaker mentioned. We are trying to have this observation and try to mitigate it. So Talos provide a quarterly report on what we for the past 3 months in terms of security trends, what the threat attackers today they are thinking, what are the top trends that they are focusing today, and how can we mitigate it. So what we observed in the quarterly report, 3 major things, actually multiple things, but because of the limitation of the times, we have almost 20 minutes. So we'll try to focus on the 3 top observations we found. So number 1 is that most of the threat attackers, they are focusing on the identity-based attacks. You can think about the group of hackers or the attackers as a company or a business. They are trying to penetrate the organizations, governments, with the lowest cost. So what would be the lowest cost for the attacker is the lowest resistance, which means they will not invest a lot of tools, a lot of resources to have this attack. So that's why we can see the identity-based attacks is one of the top trends for the past 3 months. And what we noticed also, secondly, is the initial access attack. So it all starts with starting initial access attack, and guess what? This is using a valid accounts. Today in the organizations, they have valid accounts, dormant accounts, which can be vulnerable and be used to do the attack. And the third trend we observed is the weakness. There are a huge weakness in doing, I would say, the due diligence of adopting the security solutions, MFA, misconfiguration, which really one of the top threats, which we will discuss in details later in the presentation. So those are the top, I would say, destination attacks for the attackers. So as you can see, the top 3 is the financial services, manufacturing, and education. Definitely the retail, public administration, and healthcare is not far away from the top 3. In addition to the other segments, it's not ignored by the attackers. So as you can see, no one is safe from the cyber threats. Don't tell me you are a utility organization. Don't tell me you are a small shop. Don't tell me that. Since you are running business, someone is waiting for you. Someone is waiting and waiting for the chance to attack and to steal your data. Definitely, those information is based on worldwide observation. But definitely this can be changed based on geological location. For example, in some countries we observe that in the financial sectors they are investing a lot in cyber security. So you can see that there will be a lower attacks. But overall, in general, worldwide, that's what we found on the top organizations. So as we can see, the identity threats is the top 1. And what will be the tools for the threat actors to get access or to do this the identity-based attacks. So one of them is the password spraying. So password spraying is actually one of the, I would say, easiest and lowest cost for the attacker, which will go to the dark web, collect all the available passwords, and will try and error for, it's like a brute force access. So they will try to access the accounts with multiple options or multiple passwords that they have. And if they are lucky enough to get an access, then the organization is compromised. The second identity threats, which we observed in our report, is the credential harvesting. And credential harvesting, it doesn't mean, or it could be not the main reason for credential harvesting is to do the hijacking or the attack. So some people, they are doing just credential harvesting to sell it on the dark web, to do business. Again, you have to think about the attacker. He's a businessman. He's trying to enlarge his business, to make it profitable. The third threat that we found is the adversary in the middle, which basically we will talk about in details in the next slides about MFA bypass. So MFA, which is multi-factor authentication, which is, in my opinion, and I think in your opinion, it should be something mandatory to be mandate in all organizations. You need to have two-factor authentication. Today, I'm sure most of you are using WhatsApp application, banking applications, and definitely whenever you do the registration, it will ask you, would you like to add your phone number for an MFA, to send you an OTP code, for example, or you can use an authenticator. And attackers, they are getting the advantage for that, for being in the middle between the MFA and the user. So they can hijack the MFA by having a token insertion, and they are trying to hijack the MFA and using your credentials to do their due diligence and access. And the last one, which we saw in the market for the threat, is actually the insider threats, which is really important. And when I'm saying insider threat, it doesn't mean it could be intentional. So it could be an unintentional insider. And that's why we need to invest more in the organization in the change management. When we do a change, we need to make sure this change is audited, approved. We need also to make sure that we're using penetration testing as well, to make sure if we have a good insider, like even if the insider, he's a good person, he doesn't intentionally wants to break the system, we'll make sure he's following the rules and the due diligence to secure our organization. Another pillar of the report which we issued is actually the ransomware trend. So ransomware, what we observed for the last 3 months, like 25% of all the incidents worldwide that we are monitoring is a ransomware attack. And from the incident that we got engaged as Cisco, it was 40%. So you can imagine how ransomware today is increasing. And ransomware will not come it will not come like quickly. It will not come by instance, right? It's a result of months, sometimes a year of work by the attacker, which doing pre-ransomware activities, like for example, data holding. So data holding means that the attacker got an access to the data, and he will keep up resistant for this data and to monitor the environment and to see what's the best target. And believe me or not, this will take sometimes months and years for the attackers to understand what is the goldfish or what's the catch here. After the data holding, it could be data exfiltration. So sometimes the whole aim of that attacker, and by the way, remember the attacker is not one organization, it's multiple organizations. So they could be a multiple attackers for the ransomware. So one attacker will be focusing on getting the access and sniffing your resources and making sure which one is the most valuable one. And the other attacker or the the partner in crime, what he will do the ransomware in the date and time, because ransomware, once it's triggered, it will ring the whistles and the bells in your organization. It will be obvious. You will have a pop-up screen that your data is encrypted, pay this and this to get your data. It's obvious. But this will not come by just a click, no. So that's why we want to make sure that all the procedures that to prevent the pre-ransomware attack is already taken in place. And those are, as you can see, the top ransomware that we found during the last report. So, the ransomware attackers, again, we found out that what is the, I would say, the top infection vector that they are using to start the ransomware attack is actually using a valid accounts, which is, as you can see, by a very high percentage, and it's one of the top 3. And the next will be the exploit of public-facing application, and driven by a compromise, and then user replication using the USP and just observation. But why I put this slide, just to highlight the importance of posturing your accounts, posturing your identity providers, to make sure that you have a valid IDs, not dormant one, and not being used by the threat actors. So, how the attackers gain credentials? Definitely most of those ways or techniques you already know about, like for example the phishing, sending a suspicious URL that listen, you win the lottery, you have just to put your bank account to get some deduction or something like this, so then they will get your information. Stolen credentials using the browser passwords, infostealer by just installing malware that can steal your credentials, dormant accounts, which we talk about the accounts that's not being used in the organization. And today we have a lot of third parties, and one of the third parties that we acquired recently, I think it's 6 months back, is Oort. So I'm sure most of you know who's Oort. It's one of the pioneer companies with the identity threat intelligence. We acquired that, and it's basically doing the posturing for your user accounts. And it will obviously locate which one accounts that are dormant, with a low, I would say, weak passwords. We can talk like more than 20 minutes about it, but for the sake of time, this is just a brief about the Oort here. And one of the interesting method of getting the credentials is the IABs, so which is the initial access brokers. And this is a group of people that they drill down to get all the users' credentials. They invest a lot. Okay, and this is their bread and butter, to get all the access credentials, and then they will be a broker for those credentials. Like they will have a catalog, a menu for which customer you want, which level of the customers, and they can sell the credentials for the ransomware attacker. So it will make it life easy for the ransomware attacker. As I said, it's a combined of multiple attackers. Each one has their own purpose. Okay, so what will be after the compromise? What will be the attacker's mindset after the asset is compromised? So first of all, establishing persistence. So they want to make sure that there is a persistence communication to those assets to be low and for a long time, to make sure that all the investment I did today to penetrate the asset will not go alone. I have to keep the persistence. And next is using command and control. Definitely we know about CNC, which basically will control the asset remotely. And the last thing what we observed also is the defense evasion. So today the attacker, they have the capabilities to try to uninstall any EDR solution that today you have, which is scary, right? Because usually the EDR or the endpoint detection and response tool is the first line of defense for your organization, because it's attacking the users, and this is the protection for the users. So this is one of the top behavior that we found that what they are doing after the compromise of the assets. Top security weakness. So this is the top weakness we found. Again, as you can see, as I mentioned before, the top one is the misconfigured and lack of MFA. Again, MFA in different organizations or different cybersecurity insurance company, they will mandate that you have to have an MFA, right? And what we notice is, as of today, still there will be a lot of MFA bypass and misconfiguration. Then the misconfiguration and the lack of EDR. We understand that EDR is not one of the easiest solution to operate, and sometimes working with the endpoints and the stations got frustration. And you know what? The IT admin said, you know what? Let's disable it, just for the sake of your file will work and you will not get this error. This should not be allowed, because this is the way that the attacker will use to penetrate your organization. So, since we are talking about the MFA, one of the things that we discovered or we found through Cisco Duo, I'm sure you know Cisco Duo is one of the top secure access solution today. We found that one of the things that's being spread is something called push spray attacks. So we know all MFA. So what will happen for the spray attacks, that those attackers will hammer all the users with multiple MFA notification. And as a statistics for that spray, we found out that most of it's not responded by the users, as you can see here. And it's only 5% that the user can be got in the catch and accept those malicious MFA requests. But do you think that 5% is a low percentage? No, it's really high. So because it needs from the attacker only one account to be compromised, and your organization is in risk. So this is one of the things that we need to build on. And for the MFA push, what we found out in Power Statistics, that when the attacker sent up to 5 requests for that users, most of the users will accept it, because they will fed up, they will be getting annoyed by the multiple push, and they say, you know what, I will accept it. I don't know what is it, why it's coming, maybe it's hanging, maybe it's lagging, and they will accept that. And this is the way that the attacker will be penetrated. And a very low number of users will accept that after maybe the third 10 or 20 requests of push. And what we found also for the MFA request, we found that it's in the peak during the working hours. So the attacker or the threat actors will utilize when the people go to the work, they'll try to log in and mislead them by pushing the MFA requests. And yeah, during the login, you will maybe say, this is by mistake, I will accept it. And also in the log off day. So this is the peak between 9 to 3 p.m. This is US zone, but definitely it's applicable in any country zone. And based on all of that, in our report, we found out that those are the top attack technique based on meter attack framework. And as you can see, the top one is the valid accounts. So this will show you the importance of securing the accounts that you have. I know we are running out of time, but this is the last slide. For recommendation, what will be the recommendation? So we have to limit the access for the users. We call it the least privilege access. So you want to make sure to do a posturing for your user's role, who has an access to what, and you need to limit that. Next, you need to ensure you are using the MFA. We have the Cisco Duo for MFA. You can use any MFA. We are not talking about specific vendor here, but MFA is one of the keys. And third thing, you have to do a routine auditing to ensure dormant accounts is disabled. And this is the beauty of one of the part of the Cisco Duo. We have the Cisco Intelligence and will posture your ID. So the posturing is not only on your devices, in your endpoints, it's only on the valid IDs. Today, if I have a login request from Ahmed today from Islamabad, and after 2 minutes, I found the same request from Karachi, this is an impossible access. So I need a solution to block that access. Consider zero trust. So we have to consider zero trust in all the architecture on the user level, network, and application. Then we need to focus on segmentation, and especially in the critical assets. So network segmentation, application segmentation as well. And finally, we have to actively threat hunt through XDR. So XDR is a technology term. I'm sure most of the organization, they have an XDR platform today. You need to utilize the threat hunting technique that's based on that. And this is our website for Talos Intelligence. You can access it. You can have more deeper look into those information that I presented. If you have a question and answer, if you have any questions, please share it now. I'm here till the end of the session. You can bypass. We can have a chat. So yeah, please. Here's a question. I cannot. Sorry, but I can't hear you. Can we have mic for him, please?
Hello.
Hi.
Quite a good presentation, actually. And one of the elements that we are discussing today regarding the artificial intelligence, right? I'm actually heading this solution at Jazz, and this is something that I'm interested to know, that how artificial intelligence is aligned with this identity threat protection. What sort of initiatives you guys are taking in that perspective? This is what I'd like to know. Thank you.
It's an amazing question. Thank you so much. So today, within Cisco's portfolio, with the security, even with the non-security, by the way, artificial intelligence is a core component today. So again, as I mentioned about the acquisition of the ORT. So ORT is the identity threat intelligence, and it's based on AI as well. So today, it will understand the behavior of the users. One of the behaviors that I mentioned about the impossible access. One of the behaviors today that we can work on, for example, yourself, for an executive position today, you have an access to application X, Y, and Z. And those applications, you should access them in a weekly basis, okay? But for some reason, you didn't access it for a week. 1 week passed, and you didn't access them. So the AI will understand that there is a change of the behavior because this user is trying to access this in weekly basis, and it's mandatory for him, but he did not. Then I should revoke the access for him. Something happened with him. Either your role changed, or you are out of the company and your account is dormant. So it will highlight that. So this is one small aspect of using the AI. Again, in our solution as well, like Cisco XDR, our SSE as well, it's enabled with something called AI Assistant, even with other platform with Cisco as well. So AI Assistant, you can consider it's a ChatGPT, but officially from Cisco. So you can ask immediately in your normal English language to create a policy, to show you the top 5 policy that's being hit. What is the policy that could compromise your organization? In a very general question language. You don't need to be a guru, a deep technical to know those stuff. So we are adapting that, and we have, inshallah, next quarter we will have a new product. We will be, it's already announced, but still not general available, which is called HyperShield, which is basically a native AI working on the kernel level, which protecting the assets, the users, and the applications. I'm sorry, we can speak for the whole day, but I know that I'm exceeding my time. So please, we can have a side discussion if you'd like. But thank you for the question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Haitham Nasser. Actually, we are running short of time. We are already 15 to 20 minutes behind, so we can have question and answers later. The speakers will be here. We have another young and indeed a very learned Mr. Arslan Iqbal, Director CTM 360 from Bahrain. Aslan will be speaking on proactive mitigation and environment hardening through a TTP-focused approach. Please welcome him on stage.
Hello. Clicker, please. Assalamu alaikum. I hope everyone's doing well. Nice to see a full house. So thank you for your time. There are some faces which I recognize. I've spoken to everyone over the last 4 or 5 years. First time we're meeting, so inshallah we'll meet in person. So today I'm just going to have a conversation. It's not really about anything specific, but it's more to do with what we've learned. And what we've learned over time is that, as all the speakers have also covered, there's a lot happening in cybersecurity. I'll give you a quick introduction about CTM. So CTM is a frontline vendor in digital risk protection. We're an external attack surface, CTI, and takedowns. And I love technologies. I love scalable things. I think data, SaaS, technology, that's the future. AI is the future. And that's a very good place to be. I have the privilege, the opportunity, and the luxury of doing a lot of these talks globally. And this is the first place जहाँ मैं उर्दू में भी बात कर सकता हूँ. So, thank you. आपने सबने बहुत टाइम दिया, बहुत शुक्रिया सबका. हम लोग थोड़ा सा टाइम के लिए शॉर्ट हैं. So what I'll do is I'll speed things up. I'll try to finish before my allocated time. As you know, अगर आप न्यूज़ में जाएं, काफ़ी चीज़ें होती हैं दुनिया में जो बार बार हमें नज़र आती हैं. आप गूगल करें न्यूज़ में, you will see a lot of news about cyber breaches, cyber security, cyber losses, threat actors, and this is constant. So this is just a small 1% in a point in time this year. Not to pick on anyone, it's not really about that. It's more to do with it's happening every day. What happens is, and this is in the last 3 days, and ये नाम जो है छोटे नाम नहीं है, ये दुनिया के बड़े बहुत बड़े नाम है. होता ये है कि there's a lot of repeatability, there's a lot of patterns, there's a lot of things which we can identify. The gentleman before me very rightly identified some of the top techniques. And what we see is, if you go back 1 year, Q4 of 2023, it's nothing different. And what happens is, the more deeper you get into it, the more you start understanding that, and by the way, this is from Q4 2023, इसमें भी बहुत बड़े नाम है. And it's not to do with any one country, and it's not to do with any one sector. What happens is, it's a worldwide problem, a worldwide acknowledged thing that everyone needs to collaborate on, coordinate on. And if you go back maybe a few years, 6, 7 years, it was nothing different. As I mentioned, we see a lot of repeatable aspects. When I say repeatable, and I'm a fan of repeatability, because then you start understanding patterns. You can't see this on the slide. In fact, most of the text is not very visible, but this is the traditional defense in depth architecture. So while you can go pretty wide, you also have to understand you have to go pretty deep. And not everyone has unlimited money. Budgets are pretty constrained. And so what happens is, a lot of the CISOs out there have to pick and choose. They have to make do with what they have. And in an ideal scenario, you would deploy everything. You would go wide and you would go deep. But unfortunately, in the real world, it's not really the case. So then what happens is, you make the best out of the situation. And you can go North America, you can go Australia, and everyone in between. But hota ye hai कि because everyone's juggling, you're working with, and it's 3 things. There's technology, there's process, there's people. Between the 3, you have to find the right mix. Unfortunately, globally, at least what we've seen is, it becomes a bit of a house of cards situation, especially when people in the wrong roles are doing the wrong things. So then what happens is, there is a blame the CISO, blame the vendor downstream situation as well. Press the scapegoat button. So the scapegoat situation drives a lot of fear. There's a lot of CISOs out there who are pretty nervous and they don't sleep that well, mainly because they're accountable for a lot. So that picture which I showed you, between the key roles: IT security, information security. These days it's cyber security. You have the GRC teams. There are a few stakeholders, but then the responsibility is pretty, it goes much beyond what maybe they thought they would sign up for. This is one challenge, and I think someone did mention it. They get, I think in the panel, they get hit with a lot of feeds, a lot of alerts, a lot of vendors, a lot of regulators, a lot of information. So how do you take something that complex and then bring it down into something manageable? And over here you can see there are different feeds by vendors, by certs, by industry, by authorities. And these days in North America especially, a lot of the CISOs are also being held personally accountable, personally liable, which is very scary, because if you're dealing with multi-billion-dollar industries and multi-billion-dollar enterprises, and it falls solely on the CISO, there is a line right at the bottom which says when there is a wholesale failure to carry out their compliance requirements, which means stay in line and do everything which is mandated. But what happens is it's a very stressful situation which is created. Then it becomes more a case of survivability rather than resilience. How do you become resilient? Because survivability just means every day is a new day and you're trying to get by, you're fighting the fight and trying to stay in the game. But with resilience, usually people look at it like security spending. I don't even bother updating the slide. I think I've had it for the last 3-4 years. I don't even change the numbers anymore because it's academic. And the loss is also similar. So if you were to plot it on a graph, your spend might go like this, but your losses are projected to go pretty exponential, which means there's a disconnect along the way. Now I'll make it a little technical so at least people understand, or how do you become cyber resilient at every stage of the attack, which starts at reconnaissance, goes to weaponization, goes to delivery, exploitation, installation, and so on. This is 7 steps. It was developed by Lockheed Martin. And Lockheed Martin is a aviation/defense contractor. And they just said logically, just like life has a cycle. You are born, you live your life, and then eventually you pass away. The kill chain, as it's called, is also the life cycle of an attack. So the attack is more to do with how do they get into the first stage, how do they get into the second stage, and how do they get the ultimate winning objective. For us, we study this, we like, as I said, understanding patterns, and a lot of these it's pretty intimidating, this picture. But what will happen here is there is a finite set of techniques, as they're called, and within this, people have to understand when you're mapping the attack, where does it map to? So this is famous, it's called the MITRE attack framework. For the students of threat intel, this is a no-brainer. You should be possibly looking into it and it's a lot of fun when you start mapping these different attacks as well. But what we see is in the repeatables, especially when you go a little more technical and a little more deeper, there are certain things, and this will cost you 0 rupees. This is nothing to do with vendors, this has got nothing to do with software, with expensive installations. Within the organization, there are certain services, certain techniques which are open all the time. And for example, because people in the audience might know Mirza Asrar, the CEO, usually does these talks. He talks quite a bit about PowerShell command scripting interpreter, which is T1059 in MITRE. These techniques are always open. bits admin, always open. ps exec reg.exe, usually you see them running. So the idea is, fine, the technical audience, the technical people in the room, they might be able to relate. But आपकी जो support staff है, आपकी secretaries, cashiers at the counter, admin, so on, उनको ये services की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. कोई भी command prompt में जाके कुछ service और कोई command execute नहीं करेगा. तो हम लोग कहते हैं इसमें जाके at least look into your environment. How can you harden? The 7 steps of the kill chain, because I like reading a lot, so I read a lot of books. Malcolm Gladwell said a plane crashes because 7 steps sequentially, there's a lot of failures. It's nothing to do with technology, it's got nothing to do with implementations, it's more to do with the sequence of failures. And the MITRE attack is also 7 steps. But over here, if you should read this book, it's called Outliers. What happens is the weather is poor, the pilots are stressed out, one thing goes wrong, another thing goes wrong, another thing goes wrong. So what is preventable is at some step in the sequence, how can you prevent, not be reactive, but prevent something from going wrong. As I mentioned, bits admin, cert util, common services, see them all the time in pretty much every threat actor report out there. This is known as the pyramid of pain, and you can't do a CTI discussion without talking about the pyramid of pain, because once upon a time it was hashes and IP addresses and domains, and depending on the maturity, it just depends. Some SOCs are still operating on that philosophy that if I know everything about my neighbors, then we're good. But now the world is moving increasingly towards the TTP. So you can take a picture. So the TTP aspect is more to do with tactics, techniques, and procedures. And there are 2 ways you can do it. One is harden, one is chase it. So both ways these days are being done. We published a report recently. Please do read it. It's got a lot of the new age ransomware happenings which are out there. So it's a good read. It will tell you the different situations, how the threat actors are also evolving. And this is another one we did last year, and over there you can see. So phishing, valid credentials, and command scripting. It's pretty similar to the previous discussion, the previous talk that we just had. I'll skip this, and again, this is a bit more mapping to the different elements in the life cycle. And then it gets more detailed. So this is all in the report. If you Google it, I'm sure you'll find it, or you can do it from our website as well. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when we did this study, these were the threat actors in 2015. And you will notice I mentioned command scripting. So it's similar. 10 years have gone by, nothing has really changed as such. And is it practical? Absolutely. I mean, you have to understand the environment and not just do it because I said it. You have to understand it and do it in a more practical implementation. So then a lot of these different individuals, they will, they will see the result. In fact, they will see no result because you disable the service, they will know nothing has changed. I did want to, I'll skip these slides because I do want to get to, I'm on to my last minute. And यहाँ पे, again, risk prioritization. अगर आपको CTI चाहिए भी, you can start with your organization, you can look at your technologies, आपके vendors, आपके peers, आपकी industry, आपकी country, आपका region, globally, and then of course, not applicable to everyone, आपकी subsidiaries, आपके partners, companies of interest, nth party कहते हैं supply chain risk में, third party, fourth party, and nth party means beyond the extended ecosystem. Third parties are very important. So what happens is everyone is so focused on themselves, then they just assume everyone's on the same page. But third parties is a huge risk these days, and काफी इसमें issues भी आ रहे हैं. This is a report done by McKinsey. I'll just take 10 seconds about Pakistan. So ITU की एक report है, and उस report में वो हर साल एक mapping करते हैं in terms of maturity. You'll be happy to know Pakistan actually ranked in role modeling, tier 1. And माशाल्लाह से ये बहुत अच्छी improvement है because कुछ साल पहले, 4 साल पहले ranking 79 थी. So you can see in a short amount of time, काफ़ी progress आई है. At a national level also, cyber resilience is very important. So ये भी एक report है. Please do read it. It's a very proud thing because आप अगर देखें, सब कुछ almost all the right checks have been done across the different. So that is quite different from what it was 4 years ago. So I'm out of time. I'll skip a few things. And on that note, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Gentlemen who are standing behind, excuse me, all those standing behind, आप लोगों की आवाज़ इतनी ज़्यादा है कि it's creating disturbance for those who are sitting and want to listen to the speakers. Either please sit down or please keep your volume low. All those standing behind, all those who are standing behind, या तो आप लोग आवाज़ अपनी कम रखें या please बैठ जाएं, क्योंकि you are disturbing the people who would like to listen to the speakers. Kindly keep your volume low. Next we have, thank you Arslan Sab for a very nice, proactive speech that you gave. Now we have Brigadier Rana Farooq Salim, Secretary NTISB, who will deliver his presentation on Pakistan Security Standards implementation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Brigadier Farooq, Secretary NTISB, Cabinet Division. So I have very less time because I have been told कि आपके पास सिर्फ 10 मिनट हैं और I have to finish it up within it. So without wasting any time, I'll start my presentation. Okay. The first slide, it is just showing the how the Pakistan security standard was evolved. So lately, the TM27, it's a document which was developed in 1994, was followed for evaluating the security devices. It was a sketchy and a outdated one document. So we worked days and nights, and we created this, we developed the Pakistan Security Standard, which was recommended by National Standard Committee for notification in November 21. And later on, on 14 January 2023, it was notified by the Pakistan Standard Quality Control Authority, and it was, sent to everyone and all the stakeholders for its countrywide adoption before 1st June 2028. And it was also given to everyone for its devise the migration plan by the people. So what is PSS, Pakistan Security Standard? It is just a set of documents for security strength evaluation, which include crypto algorithms, like block cipher, stream, hash, etc., crypto equipment, including all the encryptors, and ITsec equipment like firewalls, routers, etc. So it basically advocates use of tested and trusted devices by the organization. So this is very important slide. It's important for the industry because we often get confused that after the implementation of Pakistan security standards, we cannot buy or use the IT equipment. So PSS does not deal with the equipment and software with no claimed security features, like consumer electronics, smart devices, consumer IT equipment like mobiles, smart watches, etc., and general purpose software. So it doesn't deal with the any kind of equipment which are included in import clearance or port restrictions. So this slide just shows the structure of the Pakistan security standard. So it is like the set of like 40 books. So the first two books, if you can see on the first, the public domain documents, they are available on our Cabinet Division website, and anyone can download it free of cost. The remaining documents are restricted release documents and private domain lab documents. They are restricted, and they can be bought from us by writing a letter. But it will be given to the people who are interested to develop their labs, or if they're interested to, if they're in the process of developing or procuring some security devices. So what are the benefits of Pakistan security standard? So the first one is it is going to replace TM27, which was a outdated document. It also provides the benchmark to quantize level of security offered by the vendors. It will also give the guidelines and global best practices to the developers, vendors, and evaluators. So organizations will also be able to select a website published pre-tested device list, so that all the equipment which will be evaluated will be placed on our website, and you can select any equipment from there and you can use it in Pakistan. So it will also support the import substitution of the crypto and IT products, and simultaneously will also generate avenue for the PSS certified value added exports. So we have a approved business model for Pakistan security standards for the labs as well as for the users. So it is shown on the slide, you can see it, and we can discuss it later on. I will be here. And we can compare it with the, I'll show you a slide, we can compare it with the international market as well. So talking about the policies and regulations requirement, so this standard complies with the national standard required for the security devices, which are specified in the documents like National Cybersecurity Policy, CERT rules, and the other important rules related to cybersecurity. So it is not going to limit IT sector, which I have already explained, and it will also assist telecom and government sectors in auditing regime. It will also, improve our image in global crypto community. The second last point, which was highlighted by Mr. Arslan, the last speaker, that this is not the only factor, but definitely it is one of the factors which contributed towards the improvement of our national cybersecurity ranking from 76 to the in top tier, that is in top 46 countries. And it is going to improve in next 3 to 5 years again. So these are some of the international standards which we have considered while developing the Pakistan security standards. And common criteria is one of the criteria which has been implemented, and I am going to show you a few slides on the common criteria lab which has been developed here. So these are some of the PSS stakeholders in defense, public sector, academia, industry, and regulatory bodies. A word about Common Criteria Pakistan. So Pakistan is already a member of Common Criteria Recognition Agreement, CCRA, since 2008. So it is amongst, there are 31 nations which are already on board, and under a PSDP project, Pakistan will upgrade its membership by establishing international accredited ITSec evaluation lab and ITSec certification scheme by October 25. So this is the, we are going to do it in 2 phases. In phase 1, the lab which we have, developed here in Islamabad, that covers the 4 levels, EAL 1 to EAL 4. So in phase 2, we are going to, establish we are going to upgrade the lab and establish this. You can see on the right side of the slide, it is the, it shows the international rates which are applicable to the security devices which are going we get evaluated from the international market. So as compared to this, we are going to offer you very less amount, and it is going to save our money as well. This is basically the overall scope of common criteria, but the highlighted in green, these are the areas which we are going to see now in phase 1, like boundary protection device, network and network-related devices, software applications, smart cards, product and digital signatures, key management system, etc. This is just the glimpse of the lab which we have recently inaugurated. It was inaugurated by the Minister of Planning and Development. It is there on 4th floor of our Vacui Trust building in Islamabad. So you all are welcome to visit there and have a look what all facilities we have there. This is the last slide. This just shows the roadmap for the CCRA. So the tentative timeline for status upgrade at CCRA is March 25. That there will be a shadow assessment by CCRA team which will come here and they will do their assessment by June 25, and status upgrade inshallah will be in October 25 tentatively. So it is going to be internationally recognized national scheme and a certified lab then. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brigadier Farooq. You finished 2 minutes before, so we can catch up on time. We are already 15-20 minutes late. May I request, kindly जो पीछे खड़े हैं उनसे मैं दूसरी दफ़ा रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ कि आप लोग या तो खामोश रहें या फिर अपना वॉल्यूम कम रखें, क्योंकि इधर तक आवाज़ आ रही है, यहाँ पे डिस्टर्ब हो रहे हैं. And that's embarrassing for the speakers who are going to come and speak to you. It's embarrassing for them also. Without further ado, I would like to invite the chief guest of today's summit. Please welcome on stage Mr. Syed Junaid Imam, Member IT, Ministry of IT and Telecom.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, my gratitude to Total Communication, the organizers and the sponsors for hosting this event on a subject I think which is not well recognized at the national level. I think it's a very important subject. I am just coming straight from a workshop, a 2-day workshop of different stakeholders for building the digital public infrastructure of Pakistan. This initiative is primarily based on a project, Digital Economy Enhancement Project. The purpose of the project is to transform Pakistan digitally, where no citizen in the country requiring any government service has to go to any government institution. Everything should be available digitally. So in one of the presentation, I saw many data breaches and leaks. I was glad there was hardly anything from Pakistan. But I think it's not because we are a very cyber secure place. It's probably we have not done a lot as far as even digital transformation is concerned. But I am really worried that if the overall agenda of digital transformation is successful and if we don't take necessary measures for cybersecurity, what would be the situation? So on one hand, there is one realization with all the stakeholders that digital economy is the future of Pakistan, and if we want to take Pakistan on a road of economic prosperity, we have to ensure the digital transformation of the country. We have to leverage digital economy. And I think one more realization that the stakeholders have to do, that we cannot take Pakistan on the path of digital economy if we do not ensure cyber security of our digital space. So indirectly, our economic prosperity is tied with cyber security. And for this subject, I think it's a very pertinent discussion that we are having. I think one important thing you all know that Pakistan has leapfrogged in the Global Cybersecurity Index, jumping from 79th position to the top tier nation role model. I see many stakeholders sitting here who have contributed to this, and a lot of effort has gone into it. I think if you want to increase the ranking of at a national level, many stakeholders need to contribute, and I think this is one area where different stakeholders contributed, and we really did well. But improvement is in this ranking does not mean that we have become secure. It just reflects that we are taking steps and measures in the right direction. We are taking measures which are required to secure the cyberspace. But I think still a long way to go, and a lot of energy, lot of resources we have to put in. Already there has been many initiatives that are taking Pakistan in the right direction. We had our first cybersecurity policy in 2021. National CERT has been established. Now we are in the process of notifying the sectoral certs as well. So I think probably one question Jafri Saab asked about sharing threat intelligence and on the social platforms, fake news. I think once the sectoral certs are established, the intelligence sharing should be more on the formal platforms rather than on the social media and other aspects. And I think once you are on a formal platform, the people would be more responsive and more responsible in sharing the information. So once I think in a month's time, you will see sectoral certs like in telecom, banking, education, and then there will be provincial government certs as well. So they all will be collaborating and communicating. So we see quick progress in Pakistan taking place, and we are hopeful then that once the next ranking comes in 2 years, we should come in a range from maybe top 10-15 countries where all the aspects required for the cybersecurity is undertaken. One, I think, subject was AI in cybersecurity. So we realized that's very important, and you can fundamentally transform your capability to handle threats if you use AI. That's why the AI policy that is in the making, probably in a couple of months' time, you will see Pakistan's first AI policy as well. There is a special vertical on AI for cybersecurity. So I think there is realization that AI is also important for ensuring the cyberspace use of AI. And though these are two different technologies, and I think we have to build the right mix, and we have to build the right capabilities. I think the fundamental part is building the capacity, the capability. We see a lot of challenge of human resource. Most of and many competent and qualified resource go overseas. And I think this is a natural phenomena we have to understand, but at the same time we have to build the right human resource. So there is a special focus on capacity building as well. We had one boot camp in which we trained the trainers so that we have a reasonable number of trainers in the local ecosystem. At the same time, the last cybersecurity hackathon, and it's still taking place in different cities. So we included the capacity building part in the hackathons as well. So if we have the right skill set and a reasonable number of human resource, I think we should be able to handle the situation that is going to arise in near future, when there will be a lot of digital transformation activities, and the threats, we all know that they are evolving, and every day we are encountering new and new threats. So our capability, I think it's important that we build our capabilities and capacities in order to handle the situation. And I look forward to the new infrastructure that are building, the national certs and the sectoral certs, to take care of the situation, help the private sector. I think just in the end, one thing I like to mention, that we realize in the government that it's very important to collaborate with the private sector. So in these emerging technologies, it's the private sector that have the capability, and they should drive. The government's role should be facilitation. So in this cybersecurity and artificial intelligence, we are taking special support from the private sector. So even while building the national AI policy, we formed a committee which was led by the private sector. There were participants from industry, academia, and the government who combined together developed this AI policy for the country. Similarly, in the sectoral CERTs and the CERT council that we are forming, there is representation from the private sector in the CERT council who will be looking after the overall cyberspace of the country. So it's, for us, it's very important that the private sector is engaged with the government and support the government, and our role is also to facilitate and support the private sector. And I think in this area, I think the jump that we had in the Global Cybersecurity Index reflect this part. We cannot do this without the support and without the collaboration of the private sector. So I think it's very good that we see government and private sector sitting over here collaborating on this. And I think cybersecurity is another area where private sector and the government sector have to collaborate a lot more if we have to ensure our cybersecurity. And I think with this I would conclude my talk that collaboration is the key both for the digital transformation and for the cybersecurity of the country. And I look forward to collaboration between the private and the government sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Syed Junaid Imam Sahab, Member IT, Ministry of IT and Telecom. I wanted to request Mr. Faisal Rahim, CEO Total Communication, to join, but he's already on the stage now. So, saving on time, we will be handing over some few shields to the sponsors. First is exclusive sponsor, Secure Networks, Mr. Asad Effendi. Mr. Asad Effendi. मैं समझा कोई जेम्स बॉन्ड की पिक्चर शुरू होने वाली है. इंडस्ट्री एंगेजमेंट पार्टनर सिस्को, मिस्टर असलान जाहिद. म्यूजिक को ऐसा कर दे प्लीज, म्यूजिक ऐसा कर दे. इंडस्ट्री एंगेजमेंट पार्टनर सिस्को, मिस्टर असलान जाहिद. Lead banking partners, I request Mr. Zishan Siddiqui, Imran Ahmed from Bank Al-Falah to jointly receive the memento. Music ऐसा कर दें please. Mr. Zishan Siddiqui and Mr. Imran Ahmed from Bank Al-Falah. Gold sponsors, National Bank, Khwaja Muhammad Ali, Global CISO, National Bank. Khwaja Muhammad Ali. CTM 360, Mr. Arslan. Kaspersky, Mr. Dimitri. Kaspersky, Mr. Dimitri. Tech 6 Solutions, Mr. Osman Ahmed. किधर से? Acha, Mr. Zishan is from Tech 6 Solutions. Mr. Zishan. Force Point, Mr. Umair Siddiqui. Mr. Mohammed Umair Siddiqui. Mr. Umair Siddiqui. नेशनल बैंक, इसके बाद ख्वाजा मोहम्मद अली, ग्लोबल सीसो, नेशनल बैंक. S2 Zikurian, Mr. Safdar, CEO S2. Mr. Safdar. Mr. Safdar S2 Zikurian, CEO S2. GBM, Mr. Saqib Ahmed Khan. GBM, Mr. Saqib Ahmed Khan. Comtel, Mr. Ziad. Mr. Ziad. Next, after this, we'll be having silver sponsors, Secure Bytes and Reuters. Comtel, Mr. Ziad. Silver sponsor, Secure Bytes, Mr. Nabil. Reuters, anyone from Reuters? Anyone from Reuters? Lunch sponsor, Access Group, Mr. Faisal Qadri. Now Faisal Rahim will present shield to our chief guest. On a lighter side, we had to start our second session at 11:30, so we might have to skip the tea break. No. We'll have tea break, short tea break, but please join us within the next 15 minutes so that we can start our next session. We have 5 more speakers and 2 panel discussions.